he essentially was pleading and bargaining with the Lord. He's crying out for relief. God said no. Okay. And it happened 3 times, right? So think about like your life under pressure. Okay? God doesn't necessarily remove the pressure.
That's right.
Okay? Because he's preparing you for your next step.
That's right.
Okay?
Amen.
We're gonna go further in that. Okay, but I wanna talk about Paul for a second. Okay, who was Paul? Okay, who is this guy? Why do we believe and take so much hold onto who this man was? Okay, well, and I'm not going to be before you long, and I'm just going to talk to you briefly, on some history. Paul was a Pharisee. Okay, he grew up a Jew's Jew. Okay, when he was indoctrinated into money. He was taught under rabbis, okay? And he was a follower of the law, okay? For lack of a better phrase, he was a follower. He knew the letter. He had the Old Testament scriptures, the Torah, written in the back of his eyelids, okay? He was that dude.
Amen.
Okay? And he was trained by Gamaliel. And when Gamaliel was a high priest, right?
Amen.
And so he was trained by the best of the best,
That's
essentially. Right. Okay? And so when we think about Paul was up high, and he kind of had a way of talking to people where he was an enforcer. Okay, he was an enforcer, right? And when he went through his business, he did it with purpose. Okay,
Amen.
He wasn't a man of weak character. Okay, and not only that, but he persecuted Christians. Okay, he was a headhunter. Okay, to keep it brief. Okay, and because he said this is the law. And anything beyond that is not what we're doing.
That's right.
Okay, this is what we're doing. Okay, he made that very, very clear. Okay, in his work. Okay, and when we learn about Paul, we learn about his transition on his way on the road to Damascus, where he encountered Jesus. Okay, and it changed his life forever. Okay, and it's in Paul. It's who Paul. It wasn't who he was, it was his character that God was like, hey, I'm gonna use that.
Amen.
Okay?
Amen.
Amen.
That's good.
I'm going to use that character that you have inside you, that you were born with, and I'm going to use it for my plan for you in your life.
Amen.
Okay? So that's the message there is where you are and what you're going through, okay, doesn't define you, but what you do with what's inside of you.
Come on now.
Okay?
All right. Amen.
And how that will change the culture. Okay? So that's who Paul is. Okay? And we think about, I'm a life thinker. Okay? My mom used to say, hey, why you always thinking? What you think about? I remember just at times in my life, very, very clearly, just sitting here thinking, what do you think? Mom was like, what do you think about? I don't know, but it dawned on me, I'm a life thinker. Okay? What's going on? What do we, like, you wake up every day, okay, you put your shoes on, you go about your business, and what are we doing, essentially, is a question,
Yeah.
right? And that seems like a very broad question, but it's a question. What are we doing, And because life is difficult.
Amen.
Okay? how life be life, okay, we think about why that is. And when we think about why that is, okay, it's hard to see why you're going through what you're going through, why the tests and trials seem to be leveling, and you know, like, when does it end? Okay? And when I talk about my Christian journey, you know, I think about moments in my life where I had to make a clear choice. You know what I'm saying? And it was either going to make me or break me.
That's right.
And so we think about that. And when you get wiser, you know to go to the Word for that answer.
Exactly.
Okay? I'm telling you. Okay? And again, I'm not going to be before you long, but I have these points. I'm really excited to kind of like share this perspective with you. And I hope this speaks to someone, and it's because it spoke to me. Okay? And this last year has been a year. And I've like felt things and gone through things that I never thought I'd go through. And, you know, but I get excited again because whenever you fall, right, there's that process of getting back up. Okay? Who goes to the gym? Who works? Okay. All right. We try. Who cooks? Okay. That's good. I know I like to eat, so I want to know who cooks. All right, I come to your house. So, no. When you go work out, okay?
Yeah.
I don't like to work out. Okay, I don't. Right? I go to the gym. I don't want to go to the gym.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. Amen.
And running sucks. Working out sucks. You know. And I don't know if y'all knew this, but here, I'm kind of a science guy sometimes, and I like to think about what happens, you know, with certain things, right? Did you know when you work out, you're literally injuring yourself?
Yes.
Okay? You're turning the muscles. So you are ripping. Okay? When you lift a weight, okay, you're ripping the fibers, okay, in your bicep or in whatever muscle you're working out. Okay? And they are separated. Okay? And that hurts. Okay? It doesn't feel good. It's uncomfortable.
Amen.
Okay? And then you do the rep. Okay? And then you put it down and you do it again. You put it down and you do it again. You put it down and then you do it again. And that's your workout. All right, go to the next one. Okay? Well, why are we doing that? What is the point of that? Well, the point of that is because those muscles tear, those muscles rip, those fibers separate. Okay? And when you rest, those muscles begin to grow back. Okay? But they grow back stronger.
Yeah.
Okay? You are then more capable of lifting more the next time.
Come on now.
Okay? So that what that says to you, the gym goer knows, I'm going to suck this up and go through this pain, because when I am weak,
All right.
Come on now. Yeah.
when I am weak,
Yeah.
when I am weak,
Come on now.
I am strong.
Amen.
Okay? So that says you need to go through something. You need to go through something to be something.
Yeah.
Okay? You need to put that muscle through some stress. Put that muscle through some tearing and ripping of the fibers.
All right.
Or else you will not be able to hit that PR.
Amen.
All right.
Okay?
Come on now. That's right.
For my chefs.
That's good.
Okay? When I'm a microwave expert, and we live in the air fryer era. I'm so good at air fryer. I'm so good. I know. Look at boom, 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 boom. Chicken. Let's go. I don't even. What's it's frozen? Air fryer. 15 minutes. Done. Where's the ranch? Where's the blue cheese? We done. 15 minutes. a cold piece. Okay? No look. Okay? So, but it's frozen chicken. You know what I'm saying? And it's good, right? But I know, and look, I'm probably hungry again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Maybe, you know, me, about 15 minutes later, I'm in the refrigerator. What's that? Trying to look for my leftover benihana. You know, I'm hungry again.
Yeah. Amen.
Because it just what 15 minutes, and then what, you get like 6 pieces. That's it. Okay. But we know that when you go to a restaurant, and what's the first thing you do? You get your apps. Okay. You get your appetizers. You're gonna get your Alfredo or help me out. Caesar salad. You're gonna get your calamari. You're gonna get your breadsticks, mozzarella. You know what I'm saying? Right? That's the appetizer. Okay, that's the appetizer. But then after that, what's next?
The main course.
The entree, the main course. Okay, what's on the menu? What's on, you know, lobster, steak, right? Okay, we ain't done. What's after that? Dessert, okay, key lime, mousse. You know what I'm saying? Ice cream. You know, whole course sweet potato pie, whole course meal, right? That's a meal. That ain't no snack. That's a meal. That's a 3-course, 4-course. I went to a restaurant. They had these little tiny plates. We had 12 of them. 12-course meals. Okay, you full. You stuffed. You hope you got a notch open in your belt because we even full. Okay, rolling over in the car. I might not make it. Wife driving. For real. It be like that. Okay, why? What's the difference? When you go to home and throw it in the air fryer, but go to a restaurant and they cooking you a whole meal. Because you got a chef in the back following the recipe.
Yeah.
Okay? That chef in the back been cooking all his life.
Amen.
Okay? He gonna put it together. Okay, this is what the menu. This is what's gonna be. This is gonna be that. When they get full, we're gonna squeeze them in here. Okay, you ever been to a restaurant where they it's kind of dark. They kind of keep the lights low. You know what I'm saying? That's a stimulus. Okay, the colors are usually like burgundy or you know, sometimes they're bright, but it's supposed to give you a sense of warmth. Okay, and comfort. Okay, and that's done for a reason because it's supposed to make you comfortable. Okay.
Amen.
And the reality of it makes you hungry. Okay. And the business aspect of it is you spend more money. But the other side of it is, you know, it opens up the palate to taste and take in the senses, okay? And when that chef is back there cooking, okay, he's following his recipe. He's following everything line by line. Okay, he has his line cooks, his sous chefs, all those guys. They're following his direction and making it perfect. Okay, I watch TV, so I watch Ramsay. Yes, you know, it's almost like a military precision. You know, they execute in that kitchen. Okay, so when you're going to these places, you are getting, you know, the best of the best. But you ever see those people on that show and they look stressed. They look stressed, you know. But they're producing world-class meals, okay?
Amen.
They're producing world-class meals. There's this thing called the Michelin star. You guys ever heard of that?
Yeah.
So these chefs, right, all over the world, they get these stars when they cook good food and people like it, right? A chef will be known as a Michelin star chef. He's a Michelin star chef. And people in the food industry immediately know, oh, because that title is reserved for those who understood their assignment, followed the recipe, and executed. Okay? And, you know, when we a lot of times ask for things, okay? Whatever your goal is in life, whatever you want in life, okay? God asks, or we ask God for stuff, okay? And we ask for strength, okay? Okay, God's gonna give you difficulties, okay? And you probably heard this before. When you ask for wisdom, He's gonna give you problems to solve. Okay? Think about Solomon. Okay? The king who asked for wisdom. Okay? Well, he had to do something to show his wisdom too. You know what I'm saying? When you ask for courage, He's gonna give you danger story. Okay? It's a process to it. You ask for love, He's gonna give you trouble people. So you know what love looks like. Okay? Do you know what love looks like? Was Paul being shown love with that thorn in his side? Is that love? Is that love? Is that what love looks like? And it's tough work, right?
Right.
And so the message there is tough love. But why? Again, why?
Strong.
Why? But, you know, what are we doing? What are we doing? Okay? I'm going to use pastor's term. I'm going to J-ball back. We're going to see what Isaiah had to say. Now, Paul built the church as we know it today. Okay? Isaiah, he prophesied 700 years before Jesus was even born. Okay? So, we learn Isaiah was a man of status as well. Okay? But Isaiah didn't have a dream. Okay? He heard from God. Isaiah 6:8 says, where God speaks to Isaiah, who shall I send? Okay? Isaiah goes, here am I. Send me. That's Isaiah. Okay? So Isaiah heard from God. Okay? And he had that encounter. And he's known, he's grouped into the major prophets. Okay? You have the major prophets who, and they're not major as in like, you know, they're better, they're bigger, but their books are long. You know, and so Isaiah is known as the messianic prophet. Okay? Because when Isaiah speaks, okay, he's giving revelation. Okay? He's warning the rebellious nation. Okay? We know about the Exodus. We know about how they were in the wilderness. We know about the rebellion in the wilderness. Okay, they started worshiping idols. Okay, and Isaiah is there. Okay. I'm going to go to Isaiah 53. I'm going to read a little bit of what he is saying. Okay? Because we're going to figure out what this thing love is. Okay? believe the report, our report. And to whom is the arm of the Lord revealed? For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant and as a root out of the dry ground. He hath no form, no comeliness, and when we shall see him, there is no beauty that we should desire him. He is despised and rejected of men, a man of sorrows and acquainted with grief. And we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he hath borne our griefs and carried our sorrows. Yet we did esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes we are healed. Oh my God. What? Isaiah was talking like spitting hot fire, for lack of a better phrase. He was letting it be known. Okay? Now we're gonna go over this again because I just want to highlight this. Okay, and think about the perspective as we go through this of what Paul was saying. Okay, in 2 Corinthians 12. Okay, Isaiah before that was talking about in the Old Testament, the person that Isaiah is talking about is known as the servant or the savior. Okay, now who? Give me let me go through here. Okay, verse 1 and 3 talks about the rejected servant. Okay, he's going over these character traits: humility, no beauty to desire him. Okay, despised, rejected. The world wouldn't recognize him. Okay, just like the world doesn't always recognize God in your process. Okay.
Amen.
It's tough.
That's right.
Okay.
Amen.
And you may not recognize it at first.
That's right.
Okay. And neither would anyone else.
That's right.
Okay? Because just because it looks like that, okay, that doesn't mean God's not working.
Amen.
Okay.
Come on.
That's right.
Verses 4 through 6, where he's talking about substitution. Okay. That is like, and that to me is the message right there, where he bore our griefs. Okay. He carried our sorrows, wounded for our transgressions.
All right.
Okay? And then highlights it, by his stripes we are healed.
Glory.
Okay? Can we think about that for a second? Not by his miracles, not by his good example, by his stripes.
Yeah.
What stripes are in your life? Okay? What is it that we go through that is so unbearable? Okay? I'm gonna bring it in the overview. I was in Army National Guard for 6 years. Okay? And when you're in like this militant and structured format, you have leadership. Okay? And leadership just isn't a position in the military, it's a rank. Okay? And so when we think about people in the military and their rank, okay, it goes from lowest to highest. Okay? I was in the Army, so you had your E1, E2, you know what I'm saying? Your private, your specialist, your corporal, then you lot of times in my view, those who have that rank usually had to do something to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when you go into a room, and it's just funny because when I'm a police officer as well, so we kind of follow the same trend. You know, you respect those with rank. But when I was in basic and AIT, the commander, right, and the commander is above the sergeants and everybody. Okay, we're all sitting down, and the commander walked in the room, and the first person to see the commander walk in the room calls the room to attention. So, sitting here, down. Are you free? Paying attention. Okay, whole room goes to attention. Because the rank walked in. Because when he walks in, there's usually something that he's coming to tell the troops. There's usually a message. There's usually some information. There's usually orders being passed down, okay, that he needs to disseminate. This is what's going on.
Amen.
So everyone go to attention, okay, well, you know, something's happening,
Amen.
right?
Amen.
Amen.
So, as new recruits and new soldiers, we see that rank. Okay, we see that oak leaf. We see the full word colonel. We see all that. But what you don't see is what he did to get there.
Mm.
What he went through to get there.
Amen.
Okay, you don't see that.
It's true.
All you see is the stripes. All you see is the brass.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those stripes and ranks, they're marks of authority.
Amen.
True, you know, that's what it is. Those marks and stripes highlight their authority. Okay? When they come into a room, they have the authority to tell you what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the chevrons, they call them chevrons. Okay? They've leveled up enough to where they've been given the authority,
Mm-hmm.
okay, to command your life, your career. Okay?
Amen.
We'll come back to that. Am I good on time? Okay. I'm gonna break this down real quick.
All right.
Okay?
Okay. We with you.
What is the devil's strategy? Okay?
Distraction.
The devil distraction. Okay, what is distraction? Call it doom strong.
Amen.
That's distraction.
Mm.
Okay? The devil's strategy is to distract you. If you didn't know, that now you know. Okay? The devil, the enemy comes to make you comfortable.
That's right.
The enemy comes to entice you.
Mm-hmm.
The enemy comes to lure you. The enemy comes to welcome you with open arms and say, just lay right here and it'll be okay. Don't do nothing. Just sit right here and chill. Okay? When Eve was in the garden, okay? And again, I go back to the Old Testament because we learn so much about life.
Amen.
When Eve was in the garden, okay, what did the serpent say? Okay, he says, did God say, don't eat Did he say? Did he say, right? Making her question. You know what I'm saying? But why? You know? Because it'd be good to eat the fruit, right? It's convenient. You have the whole garden to eat off of. This tree right here, okay? It's like the air fryer in the kitchen. You want that quick meal. Because it's right there. Okay? But you're going to be hungry later. It's right there. But you're going to want some more later. But it's right there. Okay?
Amen.
So why can't I just take it's right there? Because it's too easy. That's not God's design for your life. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this world was not designed. You were never promised peace. You were never promised peace. You were promised grace. You were promised presence. Okay?
Amen.
And in his presence, that is your peace.
Amen.
Amen? Okay.
Good.
Now I'm going to make one more comparison where we look at these hard things, but God teaches us through these hard things. Okay, we look at marriage. Okay, marriage where you are now life partners with this person. Now you have to live with. You know, that's not easy. Okay, but what God is teaching us, covenant requires sacrifice.
That's right.
Okay, if you're going to commit your life to this person, okay, that requires sacrifice.
Amen.
The same sacrifice Jesus gave.
Amen.
And he gave.
That's right.
Okay? In marriage, you're going to go through seasons that stretch you, moments that hurt you, but you learn love. Love is proven through endurance. Okay? Just like lifting that weight. The more weight you put on that bar, right, the more you're going to be able to lift the next time. Okay? So when you go through that argument, the next time something comes up like that again, we've been here before. Okay, let's get over this. And remember that happened last time and did it,
Yeah.
Right?
Amen.
You know. We weren't promised easy. Okay. Jesus said in his own words, in this world you shall have tribulation. You shall have tribulation. Okay, that word shall, okay, means a little more, that I see it a little differently now, because in my job, I have a policy and procedure manual, and in law enforcement, we have a lot of discretion a lot of times. Like if I were to pull you over and you were running a red light or something like that, I have discretion to, give a citation. Okay, there's nothing in the law that says I have to, right? It's discretion. Usually depends on the context of the situation, whether if you put someone's life in danger and whatnot, but it's discretionary. Okay. However, in the same policy procedural manual, there's this word that says, I don't have a choice. There's this word that says, yeah, regardless of what's going on, this is what we do. If you like working here, this is what you do, essentially. Okay? Whenever I see the word shall in my policy and procedure manual, okay, I do not have a choice. There is no option.
Right.
Okay? And there are a few little shalls, okay, in the policy procedure manual. Okay? And so when I go back to this word, I look at it just a little bit differently, okay? In this world, you shall have tribulation.
That's true.
Okay? There's no running from it.
That's right.
Okay? That's life. Life be life. Okay?
Amen.
What are you going to do about it is the question. It ain't an if, but it's a when. Whom shall you serve? Amen. Okay? And so, we know we're going through this. Okay? We know we're going through this tribulation period. Okay? But there is a way out. Okay? Peace comes through your promotion. Okay?
Amen.
By following the ultimate sin. Okay? We must remember that there is comfort in conviction.
That's true.
Okay? When we fall, He is with us. When we are weak, then we are strong. Okay? Jesus is the blueprint. Okay?
Amen.
Jesus is the blueprint. Okay? This is the recipe. If you follow what it's in there. Okay? And I say this as I close because everything you ask for, strength, wisdom, courage, love, is found in Jesus.
Amen.
Amen? His strength under pressure, wisdom in conflict, courage in suffering, love under betrayal, all that is bound up in the resurrected Savior.
Amen.
Okay? And we read again that Jesus, he was crucified on the cross.
Amen.
Okay? Not for his own decisions. He didn't do anything wrong. Right?
That's right.
And real quick too, we read in the text that two thieves died next to him.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? And honestly, like, I remember back when I was like first reading the word, I saw that and I was like, wow, come on, it's like Jesus, you know, he died on the ground for everybody's sins. What are these two jokers doing in the story of my Jesus? You know what I'm saying? Who are they? Right? But and we think back again, in the Roman reign, okay, crucifixion was the death method of choice. Okay? They were good at it. Okay? They've been doing it for years. They perfected the art of taking life. Okay? And so when Jesus died as in crucifixion, okay, this wasn't something that was magnificent. It wasn't a new thing. Okay? They've been doing this. Okay? They were so good at it, right? Well, we got Jesus on the battle. We might as well get these two on the way too. You know what I'm saying? They had them on a roster. Okay?
Yeah.
But we know man, this is so exciting. The cross doesn't save because of the method. cross saves because of the man.
Amen.
Okay? It is not how he died. It's why he died. Okay? He
Amen.
made the decision in the Garden of Gethsemane that this, like listening to God's will, okay? And Jesus was tempted. We know that. Okay? We see that it was a clear decision that he had to make. Okay? Because he was wrapped in flesh. He was God wrapped in flesh.
Amen.
Okay? He met us where we are. Okay? That is love.
Amen.
Church, that is love. I just wanted to talk about that. And so we remember that when oh my goodness, it's Jesus had the ultimate stripes. Okay?
Amen.
So what do you do when he walks in your room? Okay? He had the stripes of sacrifice. He had the stripes of salvation. He had the stripes of authority and the stripes of redemption. Amen? They buried him like a man, but he rose like the God he is.
Amen.
Amen? On the third day.
On that third day.
Okay? The rock rolled away.
Amen.
Amen? With all power in his hands.
Amen. All power.
Power over sin. Power over death. Okay? Your scars are not shame. Your scars are not shame. That is your testimony.
Amen.
Amen? Okay? They're stripes. They're stripes.
That's good.
Amen?
Amen.
They're earned through endurance. They are marks of someone who has survived the storm, stood through suffering, okay, stayed faithful under pressure, and just like people who recognize rank, they recognize stripes. That's your light.
Amen.
Okay? This little light of mine. Okay?
Amen.
Let it shine. Let it shine. We've been through something. We've been through something. Okay? Paul talks about he's been through something. But his grace is sufficient. Amen?
Amen.
And we must not forget these things.
That's right.
Okay? I'm listening to this podcast where they highlight the value of reading. You know what I'm saying? God knew. Okay? His word is forever.
Amen.
Okay?
That's right.
His word is forever.
Amen.
And when we reflect back at everything that we've been through, we think about what that means for us in our lives. Okay? When I'm sitting here thinking man, what's going on? It's a lesson. Everything. Okay? Amen?
Amen.
That's all I have for y'all. And I hope it resonates and penetrates, and we take it with every measure of faith. Okay?
Amen.
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 Now, this is the part of the service where we change to an altar call. If there be anyone here who needs prayer, please come now. Any prayer needs, please come now. I see you. I see you. I see you.
Miracle